What's going on, everyone? So, I went to check out The Invisible Man. Universal, they created the monsters back in the day, and obviously they're still swinging with them, which is really cool. I love the original monsters. You got, you know, Frankenstein's creature, you got Dracula, Wolfman, the Invisible Man. One of my personal favorites is Creature from the Black Lagoon, and so it's just like I just love those kind of movies and stuff. And so when I saw that they were doing this one, I got super excited. Now, a while ago, they were going to move forward with kind of like their own Universal monster universe, and they started with Dracula Untold, and then it moved into the Tom Cruise Mummy movie. Luke Evans was Dracula in the Dracula Untold. And now I really enjoyed that Dracula movie. The Mummy movie, overall, I mean, I liked it. It just didn't do anything for me, though. Like, it wasn't just mind-blowing. And Russell Crowe was playing the character Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, this was actually going to be part of this universe, and originally Johnny Depp was part of this film, but with the failure of The Mummy and Dracula Untold not doing well, I think they just kind of scrapped the whole thing, because I don't think this movie correlates with their universe. I definitely think it's a movie that's kind of like a standalone, and or at least it feels that way. There's no references or anything like that to any of the other creatures or monsters, and so I don't know if that's encouragement or discouragement for you. To me, I wish they would actually move forward with a monster universe, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. So let's dive into this film. It's 124 minutes long, and it does feel that way, honestly. It's a little long. I feel like what's weird is some scenes are drawn out, and then other scenes are rushed. Um, and Where almost like it's like they rushed the things I didn't want to be rushed, and they dragged out the scenes I didn't want to be dragged out. It's kind of funny how that all worked. But With that being said, you got Elisabeth Moss, who this movie is really about her character. I think her character in the film, her name was Cecilia. Um, and so this movie is actually about her. The Invisible Man happens to be in it. Also, the origin of the Invisible Man is not what this movie is. This movie is definitely a modernized version of the Invisible Man story that you know about and that kind of stuff. Now, um, if you've seen Hollow Man that starred Kevin Bacon, um, that again was like a modernized version of the Invisible Man. That to me is what this movie is. It's not Hollow Man. It's definitely a different story, but at the same time, it's not really the Invisible Man that most everybody grew up knowing and that kind of stuff. So just know that this isn't the Invisible Man that Universal had way back in the day and part of the whole Monster Clan and that kind of stuff. It's similar to a Hollow Man kind of feel, where it's just a modernized version of it. Now, another thing I want to talk about is Leigh Whannell. I can't pronounce her last name. She was one of the writers, and she directed this film. And when I was watching this movie, I was just like, man, just even some of the story, the way the film looked, and that kind of stuff. It was just like, this reminds me of another movie that I've seen. And I couldn't really put my finger on it when I was watching the movie, but I looked her up afterwards, and she directed and wrote the movie called Upgrade that starred Logan Marshall Green, and which is a great movie. You should check that out. But there's a little plug for no reason. But then afterwards, when I noticed it, I'm like, that's it. So if you've seen Upgrade, I feel like you're going to see a lot of similarities in this film that kind of connect. Not that those two universes are connected, but just some of the same scenarios. Let's put it that way. But then, yeah, I guess overall, I do want to talk about it. It's rated R. Mostly I think it's probably rated R for, there might have been some language, but it's really rated R for the violence, and there's definitely blood scenes. So if you're a little bit squeamish, or if you don't like, I mean, there's a couple scenes that or do show a little bit of stuff that might be a little bit intense, and there's some gunfighting or whatever, but so just know that is in this film, and it's rated R. That's the main reason why it's rated R for sure. There's no nudity or anything like that in this film. Like I said, there might have been some language. Can't fully remember that, but yeah, just know violence and blood. Not throughout the whole film. I mean, there's a story or whatever, but they obviously hadn't made it rated R because of that. So moving on, there's no after credit scene. So then, with that being said, what is happening with the lighting right now? Guys, sorry about the lighting. I'm going to try it from this angle, just so I can finish this up. Look, lighting stuff's still happening. Just going to finish this one out. Who knows? Maybe this is a cooler angle anyways. But when the credits come, you're free to go, unless you want to see all the people's names who helped bring this movie to the screen. Overall, I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it, and I encouraged my dad to go see it because, you know, he likes this world as well and that kind of stuff. And there's a few things, though, for me that just really didn't make sense, you know, and because it's kind of funny to me, like, it almost seemed like they tried to make a realistic version of the Invisible Man, but then there's a few scenes in this movie, and it's kind of like, okay, that's completely unrealistic then. And after the climax, the final scene, even for me, I thought was a huge... it just let me down. I don't want to really talk about it outside of, like, I hated the final scene of the movie, you know, and after all the climax and everything like that, it just kind of like, okay, now let's just wrap up the story. And I thought it was just, you know, I don't know, slap in the face, just completely like, you know, let's just screw up the whole movie we've set up. I really hated it. Let me just boldly tell you how I felt about the end scene. So there's that. That's my movie review. It's The Invisible Man, and it's out in theaters, and there you go. So if you guys liked this movie review, hit the like button. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do read them. And so yeah, I'll get back to you. And then, like always, be sure to hit the subscribe. That way you're notified for future updates. And again, apologize for my awesome lighting effects that happened in this video. So maybe that won't happen next time. All right, until next time. See you guys.